Welcome to Haunted Minute, your channel of scary stories where shadows come to life and fear whispers in the dark. Tonight, get ready to dive into The Shadow in the Mirror, a chilling narrative that will make you question every reflection around you. Turn off the lights, lock the doors, and stay alert. Because what's behind the glass may be closer than you think. Let's get started. Once upon a time, in a forgotten town deep in the heart of Middle America, where cracked asphalt roads twist like black veins under an eternally gray sky, there lived a young woman named Leela. She was 24, with brown eyes like old rain puddles, and a job that ate her alive like a slow burn. Night shift clerk at a gas station on Route 66, that ancient road of sinners and wanderers. The station sat isolated, surrounded by dry cornfields that whispered secrets in the wind, and the flickering neon sign reading "Open 24/7" was the only light for miles of darkness. Lila wasn't one for superstitions. She grew up in a trailer park, where ghost stories were told to keep the kids entertained before the whiskey took over. But on that autumn night, when dead leaves danced like restless souls, something shifted. The clock hit to 17 a.m. when the door chime rang out, signaling the first customer in hours. He was tall and skinny as a scarecrow, wearing a raincoat that smelled like damp earth and stale cigarettes. His face hid under the hood, but Lila caught a glint in his eyes that didn't look human cold, like the flash of blades on a frozen lake. "Gas and a pack of Marlboros," he muttered, his voice rough as leaves scraping a window. Leela nodded, grabbing the cash without looking up, but as he turned to leave, something made her glance over. In the cracked mirror behind the counter, an old relic from the previous owner, framed in wood carved like cloche, saw his reflection. It wasn't the man who'd just walked out. In the mirror, the hood was down, showing a face without skin, just polished bones and empty sockets staring right at her. And worse, in the foggy glass behind him, a shadow moved, a stretched-out human shape with fingers reaching like hungry roots. Leela blinked, and the mirror snapped back to normal. The man was already gone into the night, his car's engine coughing like a dying man. She laughed at herself, blaming it on exhaustion. Just another hallucination from the graveyard shift, she thought, wiping the counter with a grimy rag. But the smell of damp earth lingered, soaked into the air like cemetery perfume. That night, in her cramped apartment downtown in a run-down building called The Haven, where the walls groaned under the weight of others, Sikasila couldn't sleep. The bathroom mirror, a plain square over the sink. She avoided it for hours, bundled in musty sheets, but curiosity is a sneaky snake. Finally, she got up, flipped on the buzzing fluorescent light that hummed like a swarm of flies, and looked at herself. Nothing wrong, her tired face, messy hair falling like spider webs. But then, in the corner of the mirror, a smudge like someone had breathed on the glass from the other side. Lila leaned in, heart pounding unevenly. She wiped it with her palm. For a split second, the smudge moved not on the mirror, but like it was alive, stretching to touch her. She stumbled back, tripping over the worn rug. "I'm losing it," she whispered to herself, but the whisper echoed back not from her mouth, but from the mirror, a low, hissing voice. "Look again, Lila. Look at me." Panic flooded her like ice water. She bolted to the bedroom, locked the bathroom door, and called her friend Saratha, only one she trusted. Sarah bartended at a dive bar nearby, an expert in bad nights and bad advice. "Lila, you drinking again?" "Mirrors don't talk, girl. It's just stress. You'll laugh about it tomorrow." But Lila didn't laugh. The next morning, she bought a sheet to cover the bathroom mirror, an old, yellowed thing from the linen closet. At work, she turned the counter mirror to face the wall. The night passed without trouble, except the same skinny man showed up around 3 a.m. This time, he didn't order anything. He just stood there, still a stone, hood low, and said, "You saw it, didn't you? The shadow that follows me." Lila froze. "What?" He lifted his face a bit, showing a scar snaking from temple to chin, like a dry river of blood. "They live in the reflections. Always have. But now, One of them picked you. Cover every mirror, girl, or it'll pull you in." Before she could reply, he was gone, leaving a crumpled $20 bill stained with something dark that smelled like rusty iron. Lila shoved the money in the register, hands shaking. When her shift ended, she drove home staring straight at the road, ignoring the rearview mirrors. Back at the apartment, the sheet still draped the bathroom mirror. But something was off. The fabric was wet, like it had been licked from the inside. She yanked it down, and there it was. The whole mirror fogged over, except for words scratched into the condensation, in crooked letters like nails on glass. "I'm here, Lila. I always have been," she screamed, the sound bouncing down the empty hallways. Neighbors pounded on the door, but she didn't open. Instead, she grabbed a rusty hammer from the toolbox and smashed the mirror to bits. Shards flew like falling stars, slicing her hand, and blood dripped to the floor, pooling into shapes that looked like blinking eyes. Relief? Not a chance, because in the scattered pieces, she saw multiples. In every shard, a version of herself but twisted. In one, her eyes were hollow. In another, her mouth stretched in a grin that wasn't hers. In another, a shadow rose behind her, fingers brushing her shoulder. Lila fled the apartment that night, driving aimlessly down the dark highway. She pulled into a cheap motel, the Eternal Rest, where the desk clerk, an old guy with milky eyes, looked at her like he knew. The room had a full-length mirror on the closet door. She covered it with her jacket, but in the night, she woke to a sound. Scratching. Slow. Deliberate. Like nails on wood. She sat up, sweat sticking her shirt to her back. The jacket had fallen. The mirror was clear, reflecting the empty room. But in her reflection, ... No. Behind her image, in the glass, the skinny man stood. He waved, slow and deliberate, and the shadow behind him now sharper. With the outline of a woman, maybe her mom, maybe her future self moved. It reached out, and Lila felt a cold touch on her neck. Even though she was alone, she ran to the car, engine roaring into the dark. She cranked the radio to drown out the silence, but the stations crackled with warped voices. "Look back, Lila. Check the rear view." She did, in a fatal mistake. In the rearview mirror, the motel faded away, but in the windshield's reflection, something followed. A ghost car, headlights like hungry eyes, and inside, the man and the shadow, waving. Days blurred into a haze of paranoia. Lila sold everything she owned and moved to an isolated cabin in the mountains. No electricity, no windows for reflections. She used an old lantern to see herself, but even the metal blade caught sneaky fragments, and every night the dreams came. Her trapped in an endless hall of mirrors, where each reflection was a version of her who died in horrible ways drowned, stabbed eaten by the shadow that now wore her face like a mask. A week later, the skinny man knocked on the cabin door. He didn't knock. He just stood there under the rain, falling like God's forgotten tears. "You can't run," he said, his voice now a chorus of whispers. "They pick us, 'cause we see too much. I saw my shadow in my daddy's mirror years ago. It's followed me ever since. Now yours follows you." Lila tried to slam the door, but the shadow was already there, cast on the wall by the lantern. It moved on its own, growing, stretching arms that weren't hers. The man grinned, showing teeth sharp as glass shards. "Look at me, Lila. See what you'll become." She looked, and in the reflection of her terrified eyes, she saw the end. Not a quick death, but an eternity locked away. The shadow pulled her in, and the real world melted into layers of cracked glass. Outside, the man lit a cigarette, watching as the cabin filled with silence. When the cops found the body days later, Lila stood in the middle of the room, eyes glassy, hands pressed to empty air, dead, but smiling a smile that wasn't hers. And on the floor around her, shards of mirror no one remembered breaking. In each one, a shadow blinked, waiting for the next fool to stare too long. And so ends the shadow in the mirror, leaving a shiver that does not disappear with dawn. If this story made you check the mirrors twice or left you with your heart racing, give a like to spread terror. Subscribe to the channel for more creepy stories every week and activate the bell not to miss any approaching shadow. In the comments, share what is your biggest fear involving reflections. Thank you for watching. Sleep with the light on or not. See you next time and watch what you see.